Hi, I'm Cliffhanger, and this is the third season of the TV series The Squid Game. Dozens of poor and indebted people take part in a tournament with huge cash prizes. They must play children's games, where failure means death. Player 456. Do you still believe in people? French taxi driver Daniel is famous for always bringing his clients before the estimated time of arrival. With him, you will never be late for a plane, and Daniel's tuned Peugeot 406 helps with this. In gratitude to the right car, the driver always carries out maintenance on time, and he would do it with greater benefit if he had heard of the site.ru. On this site, after choosing your car, a map with prices for the necessary maintenance will appear before your eyes. All that remains is to choose the most advantageous offer in terms of location and price, and to fix the discount in 2 clicks. And it doesn't matter what kind of car you have, an old Korean or a brand new Chinese. You don't have to worry about the warranty and service level, since all offers are from official dealers and trusted services. So the warranty will also be in full order. Well, to always have discounts at hand, download the Autospot mobile app. The functionality is exactly the same, but in a compact size. Links in the description. The action of the third season begins with the finale of the second. The players who spoke out against the organizers were defeated. The soldiers in pink do not take the rebels prisoner, killing everyone. Only Zero, guard number 11, warns player 246 to pretend to be dead, and she only wounds him. Her goal is to win the trust of the organ traffickers who beat her up earlier. Some of the coffins with corpses are burned in the crematorium, except for 2. One goes to the organ traffickers, and the other is brought to the common room. In that coffin lies the living Ki-hoon, the winner of the previous games and the organizer of the uprising, Spartacus of the Korean spill, mourning the loss of his comrades. During the vote to continue, his vote is not counted. The guards handcuffed him to avoid incidents. The man demanded to be killed like the others. Shoot, shoot already, scum. Shoot already, kill me, B. Participants decide to continue fighting for the prize, which has become larger after the deaths of the rioters. Some mockingly thank Ki-hoon for this. Old Lady Gamja and her son Yong-sik try to cheer Ki-hoon up by taking food. His Genderyeon admits that the failure of the riot due to a lack of ammunition was the fault of Doha, who was afraid to return with ammunition to the others. After this, Ki-hoon closely watches Doha, the host, pretending to be the first player, receives a report from a double agent, Captain Park. Detective Kun, the host's brother, is looking for the island where the games are taking place. The captain's murder of a drone operator, presented as an accident, forces them to return to the port to find a new operator. The detectives are visited by the collector Choi to tell them about his suspicions about the captain and the disappearance of the cameraman. But Kun trusts Park. He saved him after escaping from the island. In the morning, Choi says that he will not sail with the group. He wants to conduct his own investigation. But he asks his colleagues to show him the operating room where organs are removed for sale. There, the girl attacks the dealers, killing them. Only the doctor remains alive. He is needed to patch up the wounded player. The girl even agrees to a blood transfusion, after which she kills the doctor. To disguise 246, she decides to use a security guard suit. Before the start of the next game, the participants are divided into 2 groups, red and blue. After the distribution, the rules are clarified. They play hide and seek. Within half an hour, the blue ones must hide or find a way out of the labyrinth in escape, and the red ones must find the blue ones and kill them. To do this, the blue ones are given keys, and the red ones are given knives. After the start of the game, you are allowed to change places with someone from the opposing team. Blogger Myung offers his ex-girlfriend Kim, who is pregnant with his child, to switch places. He will kill someone, and she will find a way out. Yong-sik similarly replaces Jima's mother. Player Myung, the leader of those wishing to continue the game, also wants to get a knife, but no one swaps with him. Marine Dohu, rightly afraid that Ki-hoon, being on the red team, will choose him as a target for revenge, almost attacks the man. But the guard politely hints that this should not be done. You can die earlier than expected. Siknik launches into the labyrinth, giving a head start of 2 minutes to hide. The timer starts with a children's counting rhyme about a hedgehog in the fog. When it's time to launch the reds, Ki-hoon goes in search of Dohu. Myung teams up with Namyu, the henchman of the rapper Thanos, killed last season, to jointly kill the blues. His pregnant girlfriend strays with GMJ and Hyan into the female brigade. Together they learn that the keys given out come in 3 types: triangles, squares, and circles. They are lucky to have the entire set that Hyan is given. It is easier for one person to open the doors. A bloody game of cat and mouse with elements of hide and seek and stabbing begins. Shemenko's son leads a group of blues, convincing them that she knows the way out. Behind one of the doors, she runs into Reds and escapes, leaving the trusting simpletons to be slaughtered. Kahun wanders through the labyrinth in search of Dohu. He ignores and spares the rest of the blues. At some point, the champion spots the target, but they are separated by an abyss of a concrete well. Please do not kill. I have a wife and child. Myung and Namuse drive the first victim into a room, where they simultaneously stab him with knives, so that no one will count the victory, and they continued, scoring frags together. Under the influence of the drugs left over from Thanos, Namu is delighted by the kill. Under the second victim, they are counted as the winner. Namu suggests killing more blues to reduce the number of participants. This is not prohibited by the rules. However, Myung is more interested in finding Kim, his ex-girlfriend, to help her. He threatens to kill Namua. Pricks forbid attacking his team if he tries to harm her. During the run, pregnant Kim falls down the stairs, twisting her leg. Her friends rush to her aid when Red appears. One engages the enemy in hand-to-hand combat and wins. It was not for nothing that he served in the Special Forces before his gender change. After a short brawl that ended with Red's death, the women's battalion got its own knife. The trio finds a room where they examine Kim's leg. With such an injury, she will not run far. In addition, the situation worsens when she begins to give birth. Plus one unplanned participant, June, teaming up with another member, sets him up at the first sign of danger. What a jerk! Niho runs away from his pursuer, kicking him down the stairs. Falling, the red one breaks his neck. Niho picks up the remaining piece of his knife, the legendary NKVD knife. Young Sik finds a hiding blue one, who attacks and almost kills the man. The guy is saved by a passing teammate. He stabs the victim in the back, taking a frag for the victory. Ki-hoon meets a shaman, who reports that she saw the wounded Niho. He left a trail of blood behind him. He goes looking, and the shaman hides from Minsu, who has gone crazy with guilt. He is looking for the previously killed Simi, who did not help during the fight. In addition, the guy found a cross with pills, lost drugs on Gyu, having locked herself in a room. The woman finds an escape route, but to open it, 3 different keys are needed. She is forced to go out into the corridor to collect the keys, marking the way back with the blood of the dead. Young meets a shaman, seeing that he has the missing keys. She offers to open the exit together and leads the old man along her marks, pretending that the spirits show the way. There they open the door. At the last moment, Young goes through it, taking one of the keys and leaving the shaman with nothing. Minsu approaches her. In a fit of clouded reason, he mistakes her for Namgu, Sami's killer, and stabs her with a knife. Before Kim has time to give birth, a red one bursts into the room. Kim engages in battle with him, pushing him into the corridor. Despite the leg wound he received, he kills the enemy in the next room, noticing after the victory that there is an exit there. Having opened the door, the former Special Forces soldier wants to go out, but remembers his friends and, limping, returns. He has barely delivered the good news when he gets a knife in the back from the Chancellor. He, seeing his girlfriend with her daughter, pretends that the room is empty in order to lead the stone Namgu away. When the Reds leave, GAM, YA, and Kim take the keys from Young's neck and go to the exit. They open the door when Young Sik appears. He has not killed anyone yet, and time is running out. In order for his son to lose, GAM, YA, offers herself as a sacrifice, as someone who has managed to live, but he wants to finish off Kim. Then the old woman stabs her negligent son in the back with a stake to stop him. Ki-hoon follows the tracks, which end in the middle of the stairs, realizing that the traitor is trying to deceive. The champion finds him outside the door. D.H.O. begs for mercy, admitting that he did not serve in the army. He just wanted to look cool in the company. But as soon as the hand with the raised knife trembled, the guy took out his blade fragment and tried to kill the champion. Dazed by such impudence, Ki-hoon rushes at his competitor, knocking the blade out of his hands. Deco runs away, but his pursuer catches up with him near the door leading to the abyss. A fight breaks out between them, during which Ki-hoon wins. Instead of throwing the traitor down, he beats him up and then strangles him. After that, he puts the blade to his throat, but a guard shoots him. The round is over. It's time to count the surviving winners and kill the losers, even if they actively resist. VIP guests join the cleanup under the guise of guards. They also want to shoot at people. Damn, he almost got you. Good thing I like hunting. The engineers are sent to the common room. Noticing the disappearance of the drugs, Negu experiences withdrawal and wants to return to the location, but he is not allowed in. The security has to threaten with a gun to stop the junkie. Ganja enters the room with a baby and Kim. Her reproductive system nullifies the organizers' efforts to reduce the number of participants. Then the results are announced. 35 people have died. The prize fund has increased, and voting begins. He asks the remaining ones to stop the game for the sake of the child, but they do not listen to her. With a twofold advantage, the participants decide to continue. Then Ganja, having encouraged the new mother, asks Ki-hoon to take care of the child. At this time, 0 leads to 146 out of the operating room under the guise of guard number 16. The remaining guards check the room and find corpses. The head of security asks to bring number 16 to him after lights out, but ill, having made his way into the office through the ventilation system, advises him to think twice. The guests have arrived. The organizers don't need any fuss. It would be better for them in number 16 to quietly leave in the boat in the morning without bothering anyone. Quote, at the same time, Detective John receives a call from Choi. He says that the locals know nothing about Captain Park. The policeman, having noticed a familiar beach through a drone, lands on the shore, despite the captain's objections. He recognizes the area where he last saw his brother during his escape from the games. John tells the squad that their target is somewhere close. Return to the boat. Will continue tomorrow morning. Choi sneaks into the captain's house at night, risking being caught by the security system. Inside, he finds a photo of Park, in which he is captured together with the recruiter who almost killed the debt collector. When a dog breaks loose in the room, the guest shoots it with a revolver. As he leaves, he sees a stash of money and a pink security guard's jumpsuit under the boot. The police, called by the sound of the shot, appear. The morning begins with Noel receiving the key to the escape boat with breakfast. However, the head of security orders another check of the operating room. During the second check, the Pinks realize that number 16 is dead, and player 146 is hiding under his mask. The security also has to remove a fresh corpse from the common room. At night, GMJ hangs herself. The players are taken to a new game. It turns out to be jumping rope on a narrow bridge over an abyss. Although Kim's leg is injured, the VIPs, for the sake of greater irony, decide to appoint her baby as a player, which the security informs the participants. Everyone who is here now is a player. But this is ridiculous. There are 20 minutes to complete the task, and the order of passing is not important. While everyone is hesitating in fear before the start, Minsu uses the found cross with drugs to blackmail Nam. He throws the cross on the bridge, forcing the addict suffering from withdrawal to jump first. Namu safely reaches the cross, but it is empty. There are no pills inside. Out of disappointment, he loses concentration. A huge mechanical jump rope knocks him down. Ki-hoon, remembering Jima's request, takes the baby with him to cross the bridge. He promises to return for Kim, who will not be able to jump on her own. Despite the difficulties with the additional weight and balancing, Ki-hoon gets to the middle of the bridge, where a gap awaits. After struggling before it, the champion jumps through the hole, after which he covers the entire distance, inspired by his success. The others follow, preventing him from returning for Kim. The one who came second suddenly turns around and pushes the third, reducing the number of participants. A sudden betrayal in the world of greedy killers. Who would have thought? Only when a friend threw a couple of colleagues to meet their death, Ki-hoon guessed a threat, and to kick him in the ass, he did not move away. First the threat worked, but then they still had to fight, gouging out the opponent's eye. During this time, several people managed to safely fall. The players at the start decided to turn around and go back, but one thug threw the returning woman down. It's like in chess, you go once, you can't go back. After Ki-hoon cleared the passage, the rest with varying success get across the bridge. The last one remains Kim, but the girl understands that there is little time. and jumping with the extra weight in her face is like death. So she decides to do everything radically. Having asked Cahoon to take care of the child, she jumps down. This is where the 5th round ends. The players are returned to the common room. The VIPs, under the leadership of the host, decide to leave the baby in the game under number 222, the same as the mothers. This will add an extra spice to the game. When the security informs the participants about this, they express dissatisfaction. The winnings will have to be divided between one more person. They want to kill the baby, but the security announces that from now on physical violence between the players is unacceptable. There are too few of them, like more tigers. Physical violence between the players is no longer acceptable. The arrested Choi gives evidence. The police call Captain Pak to tell him what happened, after which he reports to his superiors that they have been exposed, and now they need to get rid of witnesses. Pak takes a machine gun and shoots Detective Kun's squad. The detective himself is talking on the phone with Choi. He warns that the captain is working for the organizers. This helps the policeman avoid being shot and counterattack the sailor with a harpoon, managing to save one member of the squad. Pak dies without revealing where the island is. Remembering how the captain deliberately distracted them from one area, Kun decides that the place is there. The organizers throw a fancy dinner for the participants of the games, where they announce new conditions. In the final game, to win, they must get rid of at least 3 players. However, they can kill more. The decision is made by the players themselves. First, the participants must vote to introduce this condition. The rule is accepted with an overwhelming majority of votes, after which they go to bed. At night, the guard asks Ki-hoon to come to the host. He offers help, a dagger that can cut the throats of sleeping players who have united against him. Otherwise, tomorrow they will have a hard time with the baby. When asked about the reasons for his altruism, the host takes off his mask. He is the first player with whom they rebelled. Ki-hoon wants to kill the traitor, but the host says that this will not change anything. They will simply find a replacement for him. And if he listens to the council and kills the competitors, remaining alone with the child, then the game will end. There will not be enough players for the final. Ki-hoon is forced to agree, despite the fact that the former teases him about believing in the kindness of people. In the morning, No-il and player 246 sail away on a boat. The head of security asks the girl to return, since they are well aware of who she is saving. The father of a sick girl with whom Noel crossed paths at her previous job. Number 11 returns to the island, after which she tells the player to swim to the mainland alone. She herself secretly makes her way to the base through the ventilation system, unaware that the chief has given the order to eliminate the fugitive. A boat sets out for boat 246. Ki-hoon brings the Gorlushan dagger. The former watches him, indulging in memories of how he himself once cut the participants on the advice of the host, subsequently taking his place. However, Ki-hoon, Remember, and Saebyuk from the first season, does not dare to commit Magkruya, deciding that it will somehow resolve itself. But il gets to the head of security's room through the ventilation shaft to make him an offer he cannot refuse. Delete file 246 in exchange for his life. The boss fulfills her request, but when she wants to shoot him, to be sure, he reminds her that there is still a paper copy in the archive. Only he can get there, besides the host. Number 11 leads the boss to the elevator, where he turns on John Wick. He starts a fight, which smoothly flows into the corridor. Only the barrel remains in the cabin. During the brawl, the laws of physics take their toll. The stronger and more resilient man, disregarding the laws of Hollywood, beats up the woman. In a desperate attempt to get revenge, she grabs a knife, almost turning everything 180 degrees. The boss, stunning her with a glass, takes the weapon away and wounds her in the stomach. At this point, he is informed that the final game is being prepared. While he is distracted, il crawls along the floor to the elevator cabin, but not to leave, but to pick up a machine gun and shoot the enemy. Then she goes down to the storage room, where she finds 246's dossier. 246 himself is running away from his pursuers, who opened fire on him. He shoots back, killing one of the shooters, but the forces are too unequal. At this moment, Captain Pak's ship with the surviving detective and his assistant comes to the rescue through the fog. The participants are invited to the final game. They are lifted by elevator to one of 3 high pillars made in the form of characteristic geometric figures. The task is simple. You need to throw at least one living player from the top within 15 minutes, then move to the next pillar, and repeat. In total, at least 3 participants will have to be killed. The remaining ones vote to get rid of the Ki-hun, the baby, and Min-soo, who is high. To start the round, you need to press the button that starts the timer. Myung suggests throwing off the junkie, and then deciding how to split Ki-hun and the baby so that they can last for 2 rounds. He pushes the first victim with a pole from the elevator, which turns out to be not just a decoration, but a disguised weapon. However, Min-soo, in a fit of hallucination, still did not understand what happened. Moving on to the next pole, the participants vote against the baby. However, he must be taken from Ki-hun, and the players are afraid of the champion. No one wants to fly down with him. They agree not to press the start button until they decide what to do, but Versia 203 is the timer so as not to drag it out. The participants appoint 353 to push the victim with the pole, but Ki-hun hints that another suicide bomber will be needed on the 3rd pole, and most likely, this honorable fate will go to 353. 353 suggests thinking some more about how to split the baby and his protector. As a result, the conspirators tie themselves with jackets for safety in order to try to drag Ki-hun to the middle, where it is easier to take the child. He uses a night dagger to untie the rope and threatens the others with the weapon. At this time, Myung-sik goes behind him to strike, but not at the one guarding his daughter, but at another participant. Having figured that now is the time, Myung goes over to Ki-hun's side, admitting that he is the girl's father. Now there are 2 armed against her unarmed. The question arises, who to throw down in the next round. A group of cunning competitors immediately offers a solution and beat one half to death. Drag him to the last pole and throw him down from there. Ki-hun's moral compass does not like this option. He offers an alternative. Draw lots without the participation of the child. The idea is not understood, which turns into a fight, during which Versia gets a dagger in the chest, and Myung throws the other down. The cunningly beloved old Manchan offers to throw the beaten man off, but the blogger, realizing that such scum should not trample the earth, but fertilize it, pushes him off as well. Immediately after this, the beaten man, not wanting to serve as a surviving ticket to freedom, falls down himself, leaving the living with a dilemma of who will die next. The question becomes acute when a bridge appears. Myung, threatening with a pole, tells Ki-hun to give up the child and stay on the previous pole. The champion suspects that the non-radical father wants to kill his daughter in order to emerge victorious with all the money. But there is no choice. He gives the girl away. While the blogger is babysitting the baby, Ki-hun, grabbing a dagger from the corpse, at the last moment jumps from the moving bridge onto the 3rd pole. A fight ensues between the participants, during which the pole flies down. Myung threatens to throw the child off if his opponent does not throw the knife. Ki-hun obeys, wrapping his jacket around his arm for protection. Another round of a fight with elements of a knife fight ends with them falling from the top together, but the champion managed to catch hold of the protruding reinforcement from Young hangs below, holding on to the jacket. The quality of Chinese clothes saves Ki-hun from the torment of a moral choice. The jacket tears, seeing the blogger off on his last flight in front of the excited VIPs. The double champion climbs up and sees that the start button has not yet been pressed, which means the game has not yet started, so the result is not counted. At this time, Zero burns the archive. While the tons of flame lick the shelves, she finds a dossier on herself, young and beautiful, not yet mired in this bloody work, remembering her dead family, husband and child. The girl puts a gun to her head, but then changes her mind. At this time, Detective Kuhn's boat, to whom 246 showed the direction, approaches the island. The policeman, using scuba gear, swims through the underwater cave to the exit point and makes his way through a secret lost to the top. Ki-hun presses a button and picks up the baby. The spectators wait for him to say goodbye to the baby and end the game. Then he reminds himself that they are not some racehorses for betting, but people. Ki-hun jumps down, leaving the baby as the last participant and winner of the games. Immediately after this, the host announces an emergency evacuation and turns on the self-destruct system. He himself goes down to Ki-hun to say goodbye, and then takes the elevator to the top column for the winner. There he is seen through the display case of Kuhn's Plaza. Having broken the window, the detective calls for his brother, but the host, looking back, silently goes down the elevator with the baby. The evacuation of the staff along the rungs is in full swing, while the guests are carried away by helicopters. Realizing that the bombs are about to explode, the policeman climbs out the same way he came in. When he emerges, he sees the island engulfed in flames from the explosions. A little later, a citizen with a gun breaks into the hotel, but by Ki-hun, and finds his stash of cash. All that is left of his winnings. The story moves forward 6 months, but L visits player 246, who works as a street artist. He does not recognize her, but the girl wants to make sure that his daughter is okay. People were found to pay for the treatment. Then she receives a message from a lawyer who found her daughter in China and has already arranged a flight there. At the airport, she misses the mother of Se-byuk, who died in the first season. She came to Korea, where she meets her son, whom she has not seen for many years. John Ho left the police and takes Choi, who was released from prison. Together they wonder where Ki-hun's money went. Apart from the two of them, no one else knew about them. Returning home, the ex-detective finds a package from the organizers on his bed, Kim's 6-month-old child, and a bank card with her winnings credited to it. The host goes to America to give Ki-hun's daughter his inheritance. A game suit and a bank card, which is supposed to contain the rest of the winnings, confiscated from the stash. On the way to the airport, the host notices an elven-looking woman in an alley playing a Korean children's game and recruits new participants in the competition. This is where the series ends.